Now, the Azimio crisis meeting that was convened by Raila Odinga last week exposed the internal war in Azimio between the ODM party, Kalonzo Musyoka's Wiper party, Martha Karua's NARC Kenya party, and also the Jubilee party. Based on the agenda that was being discussed in that particular event, it turns out that ODM party leaders and the Wiper party leaders ganged up. They united against Martha Karua and the Mount Kenya leaders' opinions. And that is why ODM and Wiper overruled Martha Karua and the Mount Kenya leaders. So let me just read for you this statement here by the Daily Nation, which says that a source within the Azimio La Umoja Alliance told the nation that the differences in Azimio may have arisen during the crisis meeting convened by Raila Odinga last week. So basically, in that particular event, the Azimio La Umoja Alliance was splitted into two. In fact, there are some leaders who are actually supporting President William Samoei Ruto, and especially on matters to do with the suspension of the dialogue meeting, bipartisan dialogue between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio, and also on matters to do with the demonstrations. Let me read for you this particular statement, which says that it was therefore a feeling that so that we don't make the people feel abandoned, we should suspend the talks until Kenya Kwanza reduces new fuel prices. That way, people will see that we are still with them. Reportedly, Martha Karua and Jeremiah Kioni were in agreement with these sentiments, but were overruled by Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka. In that meeting, some senior opposition officials had suggested that the talks be suspended to protest against government decision to increase fuel prices. So on matters to do with the demonstrations, you heard Raila Odinga saying it later on that he will not go back to the streets, he will not protest anymore, but he talked about the 10 million signatures that Azimio had actually collected, and he will use it to counter President William Samoei Ruto. And I'm told that Raila was forced to end that particular meeting abruptly because several leaders stormed out of that meeting. Secondly, that crisis meeting convened by Raila Odinga is what led to the establishment of the Kamwene Leadership Forum. This is actually a new political alliance formed by the Mount Kenya region leaders led by Martha Karua, who felt like they are not being heard. They are being oppressed in Azimio La Umoja Alliance. So basically, it's actually a rebellion. So let us get to know the genesis of this Kamwene rebellion movement. When you listen to Martha Karua's statement, let me just read for you. She says that it does not mean we are not in Azimio. If we weren't, we would say it without beating around the bush. You saw us speak as Azimio today. We are here speaking as Kamwene. Tomorrow, I will speak as NARC Kenya. All these are spaces we occupy. Jeremiah Kioni says that this is Kamwene Leadership Forum, a group of people who are not in Kenya Kwanza. Neither are they in Azimio, but are pushing the interest of the mountain. That is how the Kamwene rebellion was formed. And also, that is why the majority of the Azimio leaders from the larger Mount Kenya region are totally against the dialogue meeting at the Bomas of Kenya, because they are not included in that particular bipartisan dialogue talks. That is why also you heard Jeremiah Kioni talk about the dialogue meeting that should end. Jeremiah Kioni is saying that Mr. Kioni on Tuesday said that had he been the one in Mr. Raila Odinga's shoes, he would have by now pulled out of the talks. He says that we are going nowhere with these talks, but we are in support of Baba and the decision he has taken. And I want you to realize that Jeremiah Kioni is following up on matters to do with that talks, on matters to do with the talks. So when he says that that dialogue meeting is not going anywhere. He understands what he says. And thirdly, the crisis meeting that Raila Odinga convened actually exposed the betrayal among the Azimio themselves. Betrayal in that, first of all, Raila Odinga did not appoint any of the larger Mount Kenya region leaders in the bipartisan dialogue talks. And that issue is being addressed on several occasions, but Raila Odinga has failed. He has decided to play a low political profile on those issues. There is actually a secret deal that is going on between Kalonzo Musyoka, Raila Odinga, and the government. And that is why, in that particular meeting, Kalonzo Musyoka's Wiper leaders and ODM leaders united against Martha Karua. So there is something that these leaders know, that Martha Karua is kept in the dark. And that simply explains. I like to give this example of the African Climate Summit that was conducted recently here in Kenya. Raila Odinga was invited. Kalonzo Musyoka was also invited in the State House dinner. It's only that Martha Karua and the larger Mount Kenya region leaders from Azimio were not invited. So those are the kind of the red flags that Martha Karua actually saw, and that is why she is currently leading the Azimio rebellion. So basically, this is what I can advise Raila Odinga. But if you're currently watching this up to this particular point, please take a second or two and click to the subscribe button. You can also give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube can recommend this video and this entire platform to reach out to others. To my returning subscribers, I really want to appreciate you for your continued support. And also, if you want to automatically receive the notifications updates from YouTube itself immediately I post a video on this channel, just press the notification bell. So my advice to Raila Odinga is this. First of all, he must ensure unity within the Azimio. I think Raila Odinga should learn from the previous NASA coalition. The internal war started just like this, and it costed Raila Odinga's presidency because Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi walked out of Raila Odinga's side, and they actually formed this particular Kenya Kwanza Alliance government. If Raila Odinga had ensured that there is unity in NASA, I think by now Raila should have been the president of the Republic of Kenya. So if he allows also the Azimio to end just like that, it will totally cost his politics ahead of the 2027 general elections. So he must ensure unity. Secondly, Raila Odinga must ensure the abolishment of this new alliance formed by Martha Karua and the leaders from the larger Mount Kenya region. And how will he counter this issue? He must ensure that these leaders' opinions are being heard, they are being taken into action in the Azimio La Umoja Alliance. If their opinions are not contributing anything in Azimio, they will basically defect. And finally, I think Raila Odinga must make a new appointments within the Azimio. He must ensure some changes, like for example, the Azimio patron, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, who is inactive. He should fill that gap. He should make some political arrangements to ensure the unity in Azimio. So that is it. I don't know what you think. Let me hear your thoughts on the comment section below. Otherwise, I don't have much. Until next time, my name is Jason, but please don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.